that should work. Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone's Wednesday going? We're going to start with tri-tip today. We got tri-tip, ribeye, New York, chuck roll, top sirloin, and I have round for some cube steak. So we got a bunch of meat to cut today. So if you ain't following, make sure you're following. All right. So first things first, we're going to need to find out which way is the top and which way is the bottom. Easy way to do that. One side's pretty much kind of just slicked out, that's the back. One side's ugly. Usually the ugly side's the top side, and we gotta pretty it up a little bit. So what I like to do is we kind of come down here and just take off this fat. It's just because it was hanging there. It's unappealing. Anything that's just hanging there, gotta come off. Welcome, 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 welcome. Sorry, it's just hanging. Everyone good to have a happy holidays and great New Year's? Mine was pretty good. I went to Boise, hung out with some family. If you're anywhere, I'm also live over on the YouTube, the Red Play app. I do post longer videos on there, so go ahead and drop a like over there and subscribe. It's one done. This bag has 4 roasts, which is just the perfect amount. I don't need any roasts out there, I need some steaks though. Thank you all for joining. Told y'all I'm gonna be slapping my meat when you join, so I'm gonna be slapping. What's up, YouTube? How's it going? So again, we're just gonna come out, take off this top layer of this connective tissue down here, just because it's just hanging out. Connective tissue and fat, when it's just hanging out, it's not appealing. 9 times out of 10. Steak and roast gets bought because of the appearance of it. So if it looks ugly, it's got some ugly connective tissue and some fat on there that doesn't look appealing. 9 times out of 10, it gets passed up for a package that looks better. You can get away with it if it's super cheap, but you have an expensive package of meat like this tri-tip or chuck roll or anything else, I'll have a hard time wanting to buy it. Oh man, what is this? This is tri-tip. That's a nice looking tri-tip right there. I can already tell you when we start cutting this one down, it's gonna have some pretty good marbling. I can feel it. Appreciate everyone hopping on over to YouTube. If you ain't new here, welcome back. If you are new here, welcome to the meat army. So again, like I said, we got this stuff that's just hanging out. You can almost just pull it off too sometimes. Got this connective tissue. Just want to take that out. A lot of the times when it's just the connective tissue or just fat, I'm throwing that away because I only need about 20% fat from my ground beef, my trim bucket. So anytime I do have some meat on this trim, it goes down here into my trim bucket, where at the end of the day I'll make some ground beef. I have some 93 on sale this week for $4.99 a pound for a family pack, but I don't produce enough trim for 93. I do 80-20, so. Again, thank you all for joining. Thank you all for the new follows. If I somehow missed a gift, my bad, I'll slap my meat for you. Mama, thanks for the follow. Toro, thanks for the follow. Trap, thanks for the follow. I really know how to handle that meat. I've had a little bit of practice, if you know what I mean. No, I'm just kidding. 7 years in the meat department, plenty of years of experience. Tri-tip, yes sir. It's definitely a tri-tip. That's also another good tri-tip right here. It's got a bunch of fat right here though. You can almost just kind of start peeling it off. No need to overwork your wrists though. I'm trying to pull off the fat, especially if it doesn't want to just pull off. So we'll use our knife here. Again, anything that's just fat, connective tissue, I don't need it in my trim bucket, like the fat, it's gonna go to the trash. Connective tissue, it's just connective tissue, will end up just in the trash. Is this tri-tip? Yes, this is tri-tip. Hope everyone's Tuesday's going great. We're gonna have a pretty good day back here in the meat department. We got a bunch of meat to cut. Once we got all these tri-tip trimmed up, we're gonna go ahead and start cutting these down into some steaks. I like to switch it up to a little bit bigger knife. This is my 11-inch Knife Pro Cutlery steak knife. It is available in my TikTok showcase. So when you're cutting tri-tip, the grain, if you know what I'm talking about, it's running kind of diagonal. It's not straight up and down. So we're going to want to cut across that to be able to get a good steaks cutting against the grain. So I'll show y'all what I mean. I'll get a couple steaks off of here. Look at that tri-tip. It's a beautiful looking tri-tip right there. This meat belongs to which animal? This is from your cow. This is a beef tri-tip. So we're just gonna follow that angle all the way down. Look at this little thin section. We'll just put that into the trim bucket. What I mean by thin section is we get this little bit right here. Put that into the trim bucket. Set these over here. And then on to the next roast. Again, if you ain't aware, I am also live over on YouTube. I post content over there as well. Longer videos, you know, here on TikTok, a little bit shorter videos. I'll post part 1, part 2, part 3. Over on YouTube, you'll get the whole video all at one time. I do have a video coming out later today. Actually, it already came out later today on YouTube. So if you like longer meat cutting videos and you're trying to figure out a little bit things to learn, make sure to follow on the YouTube. If you're already following over on the YouTube, appreciate you all very much. If you don't want to follow on the YouTube, you don't got to. But I do ask, hit that follow button on the TikTok. So again, we're going to just go on to this next roast. Steaks look real good too. It's a good looking tri-tip. Someone asked what is this on YouTube? They asked if it was cow or chicken. I don't know what piece of chicken is ever this big, but hey, if you can find a chicken that can grow to produce meat that's this big, let me know. Looks awesome, man. Thank you. I think it looks really good too. Really beautiful steak, great marbling. I deal with CAB, that's certified Angus beef. That's the top of the line of the spectrum for the choice category. You know, when you're grading meat, it goes select, choice, prime, and then you get into your Kobe beef and then your Wagyu. The depending on where you're at, your American Wagyu, which we kind of just started doing. There's the Australian Wagyu, which is very, very good looking in my opinion. And then you have your Japanese Wagyu, which is very expensive and delicious as well. But the CAB meat, when you're going up, select the choice, all select, choice to prime. Thanks for the Dalgona candy. I'll slap my meat for that. Thank you so much. I can't name kind of. I'm gonna butcher that name. Unusual name. Thanks for the gift. Thanks for the candy. Appreciate that. But that CAB beef, that certified Angus beef, when you get into the choice to the prime, that CAB is that top section of that choice into that prime. So that the marbling's usually really good looking on a CAB meat. Now we're gonna go ahead and package these. Oh, well, howdy there, partner. Appreciate that. Probably not Cadillac. Thanks for the hat and mustache. I appreciate that, partner. That's pretty cool. YouTube, you might not know what's going on. You don't get the animations over there. Well, hot damn. Kier sent a heart me. I don't got a thick piece of meat, but I got a nice long skinny one to slap. Hello, Mom. If anyone doesn't know, my mom likes to come in here and moderate my streams as well. Molly Haregi Author over here on the TikTok. She's a author, yes, an author. And what of? It's a fantastic vampire trilogy called Fated. A vampire trilogy. A fantastic book read. I know normally when you think of vampires, you think of these sparkly, bad acting creatures. We just delete that out of your mind and just let me tell you, this is a completely different twist. And it is absolutely amazing. It's completely different. It's what the world needed as far as needing something different. It's a great read. Great read. Dixie, thanks for the follow. What cut of beef? This is tri-tip. Tri-tip steak right there. Put about 4, maybe 5 steaks in a package, depending on the size. These are $9.99 a pound. Haven't decided if I wanted to drop it down to $8.99 a pound yet. Haven't decided. I got a couple things on sale this week, like my ribeye. I got rib roasts for $6.99 a pound whole. $5.99 a pound whole, $6.99 a pound cut, and as well as New York, $5.99 a pound whole. So we got a bunch of meats, and I don't want to try and cut away from some of the other meats of sale, especially the ribeyes and the New Yorks, because I definitely need those sold. They're starting to worry about them a little bit, but. So if you're in the Twin Falls area and need a tri-tip, not tri-tip, I got tri-tip. But if you need a ribeye, I got some ribeye. Come on down to the Filer area. About the only store here, so I'm sure you can find me. Not gonna find any ribeye in New York for a better deal than that. Jason Lee, thanks for the follow. Loves his job. I do love my job. Although people do get kind of annoying and kind of ruin it sometimes, it's also part of the job. I'm thinking top sirloin next. We're gonna go top sirloin or chuck roll. Got 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Top sirloin it is. Y'all slacked. Y'all slacked. Oh, came out of nowhere, out of left field. Chuck roll it is. great man. I tried the best I can. Although, it's not the knife that I normally use. This is like a brand new knife. I'm just gonna... It's a pretty sharp knife. Pretty sharp. So with this chuck roll, we're gonna get some chuck roasts out of it, but I am gonna take out the chuck eye, a couple of chuck eye steaks. But that's pretty much the only steaks we're gonna be taking out of this. Just the chuck eye, and then we'll cut it down, cut everything else down into chuck roasts. Cut them last week, and they just kind of flew out of my counter, so might as well just keep it going, right? So first things first, where I like to start. Let me get this separated real quick. Where I like to start is right here. And this is where a bone was resting against the meat. So this is like a protective layer between the meat and the bone so that the bone doesn't rub into the meat and damage the meat, right? So this is a very tough, very bad tasting piece of layer, whatever you want to call it. Protective layer. So I always just cut it out and throw it away because it's not good at all. You don't want it on your roast, you don't want it on your steak. There's also little bits of bone connected to it. There's a little bitty bone right here. Don't think you can see it, but got a little piece of bone right here. So it's also why I like to cut it out, because it's supposed to be a boneless piece of meat. You don't want to go take a bite and stab yourself in the top of your mouth or in between your gums with a thin piece of bone, or break your tooth on a thick, hard piece of bone, you know what I mean? So just following it right on out of there. It's kind of like a patch. Do some, what's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre type of thing, you know? Make a mask with it. What games do I play outside of work? I've been playing a little bit of Fortnite again. My son's got a system for his birthday. So I've been playing with my son when he's over at his mom's. Rainbow Six. I need to get a new Xbox so I can play some Valorant. I'm gonna be getting a couple new games to try and start streaming as well. Just like random games. Gonna go through the shop and see what interests me, what piques my interest. I do play, what else? Elden Ring. I need to start the DLC on that. I've been slacking on that. I might actually go home and start that today. But after we get this all removed out, we're just gonna kind of go around on the belly of this chuck roll and take out all this connective tissue, because it doesn't look appealing on a roast form. You get this big old fat little pocket right here. We're just gonna trim it out, not all of it, just the parts that are kind of just sticking out more than the meat. Just kind of shave it down. It's been a little bit since a meat slap. Might as well give it a nice little meat slap. Once we get this belly all nice and trimmed up, I say that looks nice to me. We're gonna go up here to the top. Now again, we have these bumps right here, and that's where the chuck roll was going down into the rib section, because the very front of this chuck roll is attached to your ribeye. So at one point, this was looking like this, right? So when they cut that out, there's still some bones that are attached back here. So we have that protective layer again that protects the meat from the bone. There's even a little bit of bone left right here. So we're just gonna go ahead and start shaving. We're just gonna shave right out underneath these lumps. This meat has some lumps. I'm just go ahead and just square this little part up right here. Got a little bone right here. I'll even show y'all. A little bone right there. Take these little pieces too, which there was a bone. Bone's up in here too. A bone. Another bone. So you don't want those to be left in your trim bucket, because then you'll make ground beef, and when someone's expecting just bite into their spaghetti or hamburger or something, they get a bone, and then yeah, they're not gonna be too happy. So want to take out all the bones. Even if you gotta rub your hand along this big old piece of meat and caress it, you gotta find them all. Don't want no bones left on it. A little bit of color change on that meat because of the bag, the cryovac bag, the air getting sucked out, so it kind of sucked out the juices from the meat, so it kind of just turned the color a little bit. So whenever that happens, I tend to just shave off that little bit of meat that's just changed its color. It's not bad, it's just unappealing, and it's not going to get its color back. So then we'll go through the side, and again, it's basically a cryovac problem. When they suck all that air out, it makes it all ugly over here. So I like to just kind of hit it at an angle. Just get it all. God, that's a sharp knife. If you'd like to get yourself a sharp knife like this, in my TikTok shop, this is my 11-inch Knife Pro steak knife, 11-inch. It's fantastic. Now with this chuck roll, we get this tail end back here. It's pretty much just all fat underneath it. Emily, thanks for the heart me. I slapped my meat. I send you a heart you back. It's all fat right underneath this. So we're just gonna go ahead and just take this out right here. A little bit of meat, just trim it up to where it can be, put it through the grinder. And there's one other part that I need to take off too, just because it's really ugly. Just this tail end. Pull that out. Or I guess since we're actually using this for this front end, we're going to be using it for a chuck eye. I can just take off this whole piece actually. If you're going to leave it as a roast, you can leave this on. But we're going to be cutting it down into a steak, so we don't need this extra little piece hanging on there. So this front end is where it was attached to that ribeye, like I was saying before. So we got basically a couple steaks in here that's part of the chuck area. That is technically a ribeye steak, but because it's part of the chuck area, they call it a chuck eye instead of a ribeye. So I'm just gonna give a small little shave off the front of this because of, again, cryovac bag. Usually these ends are kind of a little ugly in color. Show you what I mean. Just a little bit of ugly compared to this other side. Put it on a trim bucket. Now the chuck eye, you get a couple steaks off the front end of this. Anywhere from 2 to maybe 3 steaks can be a chuck eye. So when we're cutting it, I like to cut them a little thick, like about 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches. That's actually a really good looking chuck eye. We're not done with cutting this into a chuck eye yet. There's still more to be done. So I'm just gonna set this off to the side. We got one chuck eye right there. I'll show you all what I mean by we still got more work before it's considered a chuck eye. Cut that one, cut another one. See how this piece down here is getting a little bit smaller compared to this one? This one's a nice big old steak on the bottom. Well, this one's kind of a little bit smaller, depending on what side you're looking at it from. I'm gonna just call it right there. It might have another one, but usually those 2 chuck eyes are plenty enough. Some people want them, some people sometimes wait till I reduce them, so we'll wait and see. So now for this, we're just gonna cut the rest of this down to some chuck roasts. So as you can see, a roast, you just need a big old thick cut steak basically. So we're just gonna follow this down, cutting a couple pound roasts, and we'll get about 1, 2, 3 to 4 roasts out of this, depending on the size that we get. So usually about this front end roast, it has a little bit of fat in here. We kind of took that out with our chuck eyes, so it benefits this roast. Go ahead and just wha-bam. Nice looking roast. Set that on over here to the side. Get another one done. I got these on sale for $6.39 a pound this week. That's kind of a big roast. I guess we're gonna get more than what I thought. We'll get 2, 3, about 5 roasts out of here. I might cut a couple of them in half too. They're kind of big. It's a nice old chuck roast right there. Love those prices. It's a great price. $6.39 for a roast. I think is what I have it at. $6.39 or $6.29. It's one of the two. I think it's $6.29. And then I have family pack $6.59. I'm pretty sure that sounds right. And then $6.79 for a single steak. So for the roasts, we'll come back to the chuck eyes in just a second. For the roasts, pretty big pieces of meat, right? That's what she said, right? So I like to kind of put a couple extra soakers in here, especially when it's a roast, because the roast is going to kind of leak a little bit more than a steak. So you get a couple pound roast, it's going to produce 40 plate, correct? That is exactly what it is. I just broke the side of that, so we'll just switch that on out of here. So correct, 40. Like this roast, I might honestly cut that one in half. I feel like that one might need to be cut in half. I feel like some old lady might like a half of one of these. I could be wrong though, because it's usually the older ladies that come in asking me for like a 5 or 6 pound chuck roast. So I don't know, I could be wrong there. Connective tissue. Very professional. If I have to pull up my sleeves, might as well use my gloves and just switch them out. So, pretty simple. I had to cut a couple London broils in half. Yeah, that's how, if you get a really long one and that's super, and you cut it really thick too, sometimes cutting them in half works as well. I feel like this one can be left whole. Yeah, that's a nice roast right there. Like, look at that. That's a beautiful chuck roast. Kyle, thanks for the follow, bro. What are you talking about? Ribeyes are expensive. I said ribeyes are expensive. I have mine on sale for $5.99 whole and $6.99 a pound cut though, so I got the best prices for ribeye that you'll probably find for a while. Xavier, thanks for the follow. Where am I located at? Filer, Idaho. And I do have permission to say that. So mom, don't worry. Yeah, I'm gonna cut this one in half. 2 suckers should be okay. So we're gonna get a couple extra steaks roast out of this one. That's all good. These should sell. Pretty good price. That's why they're cheap. Yeah, they're Christmas roasts that didn't sell, so they're starting to get a little short dated. So yeah, instead of losing 4 cases of ribeyes, I'm gonna mark them down to hopefully sell them before they go bad. It's the whole reason. If you think I'm trying to hide something, I'm not. My guys online, how much is that full roast? This full roast, $6.29 a pound. I'm sure this is right under $20, maybe right at that $20 range. But now to get these down into our chuck eye steaks, because the chuck eye is just this bottom part. We got this fat seam right here, as you can see. So we're basically just going to separate these two pieces of meat. That's why these, you can really just pull it out of there, as you can see. That's why these are kind of a little expensive compared to a normal chuck steak, because you kind of got to take a little bit of that meat out just to get to this. But this is a poor man's ribeye, because this is only going to be about $8 a pound for this chuck eye. Look how beautiful that is too. That's a beautiful looking chuck eye. Just sheesh. Kind of looks like a ribeye. Y'all see the ribeye look in there? Looks like a little ribeye, right? This meat over here, I'll just go ahead and we'll take as much as we can without all this extra little fat on it. Set that aside for some stew meat. It's just fat, throw that away. The rest of that's trim. So we got one chuck eye. You'll take that chuck eye. Well, if you could come to Filer, it's all yours. And then again, we're just gonna follow, see if we can just pull this one out. That's what you like right there. When you can just pull these, just makes life a little bit easier. Sometimes you get this connective fat, but you don't have to cut it at all. Just gotta separate it with that little connective part. It's the best. That one even looks even better. Look at that. Look at that chuck eye. So again, we'll just come over here, find the meat that we can repurpose into some stew meat. Choose that. That's just fat. Don't need to put that into the trim bucket. Oh. Party foul. Meat foul. Meat on the floor. Who wants a dirty piece of meat in their mouth? Not me. Although there are some questionable people out there. Rob, thanks for the follow. Do I ship meat? I wish I could. We're just a little local small town grocery store, so we don't ship, unfortunately. But we got two great looking chuck eye steaks. Look at that. Been watching my lives ever since I started on TikTok. Hey, I appreciate that. Full Christmas roast for ribeye. If it's whole, a whole ribeye, $5.99 a pound. Right now, in my case, it's going from anywhere from about 110, a high range about 130. But I have cut roasts, ribeye roasts out on the counter as well, and those range from anywhere from $30 to $50, $60. So, a bunch of different sizes of ribeyes out there. The ones that are cut, or the bones are cut off and tied back on. And then there's a whole New Yorks out there and whole ribeyes. So I haven't done anything with it. But I do also have boneless ribeye roasts out there for $7.49 a pound, I believe, because got to make a little bit of money on that roast if I'm deboning it and selling it boneless. So pretty much breaking even with that one. But this is our top sirloin. This is basically an ass. So yes, I just slapped a cow's ass. Nice, it is beautiful. These are chuck roasts though, so these aren't ribeye. I was just cutting down, so those aren't the Christmas roasts. This is a top sirloin, and it has one of my favorite roasts on it, which is called the picanha roast, and that's this one right here. We will be separating these pieces of meat. We'll pull them apart, get two different cuts of meat, both top sirloin, but One's just named a little bit different. So to start off here, we got this ugly piece right here. I'm just gonna go ahead and start on that just because it's just hanging there. This is basically just connective tissue. Very ugly, very unappealing, very stretchy, rubbery. Don't need that. Don't want it on your steak, you don't want it on your roast. But how we're going to separate these two pieces of meat is we're going to take out this pocket of fat right here, this fat deposit, because that's what's holding these two pieces of meat together. So we're just going to kind of work all this ugliness away first though, because again, we got this protective layer that protects the meat from the bone. Because at one point this was basically kind of back here on that hip-ish area. Hip-ish. Not exactly, but ish. So there's that big old bone kind of resting on here, so you don't want that bone digging into the meat, because I'm sure that would not feel too great. So I have to kind of just work away and kind of make a little path to follow. Try and get it all out at one time. Sometimes there'll be a little bit itty bitty pieces in there. Sometimes not. I think we're pretty much gonna get that one all out of there in one piece. Ugliness does not taste good. You can maybe put it in like a broth thing to like make for your dog, but I'm not gonna worry about that. I don't have people who do that type of stuff around here. I have a guy who comes in and buys pork for his dog, but that's about it. Just gonna take out this fat deposit, because that's what's holding these two pieces of meat together. It's crazy what fat does. It's pretty much just what's holding these two pieces of meat together. There's probably a little bit of connective tissue up in there, but it's just pretty much this big old fat, pocket of fat. So once we get enough of that worked out, it's gonna shave it out. You don't want to try and get into that meat. You get into the meat, you're losing profit. But this is the satisfying part. This is one of the reasons why it's my favorite piece to cut apart. This is very satisfying. I do have some deer roasts left, Mom. This is very satisfying. We're just going to rip it apart. You ready? Just rip it apart. Very satisfying. Sometimes you can get it all without even picking up your knife. This one's not wanting to do it, so we're gonna get right about there. Now we got this big old picanha cap, which is my second favorite piece of meat on a whole cow. I'll choose this over a filet mignon. Y'all might sound crazy, but I also think a filet mignon's an overrated cut of meat, so get that out of here. Again, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Appreciate the new follows. If I've missed a gift, so sorry about missing a gift. I'll slap my meat for you. But if you also aren't aware, I'm also live over on YouTube. I do post longer videos over on there. Here on TikTok, you'll get part 1, part 2, part 3. YouTube, you'll get the whole 20-minute long video. I did also just upload a video before I went live, so make sure to check it out. Like and comment. Let me know what you think about it. But I'm also a little hobbyist over on Twitch too. Trying to get into streaming over there. So if you like watching people play video games, I'm also over on Twitch. Under Hanyan44 though. All the links are up in my profile. But yeah, if you ain't following me on YouTube because you didn't know, make sure to subscribe over to the YouTube because I do post longer videos. Like 20 to 40 minute long videos, hour long videos. If you miss a live, it goes on YouTube. So we got this fat cap that's still back here. You can leave it on, but in my opinion, it just makes that last steak look really funky and weird. So I just like to take it out anyways. If you ever take off a piece of fat and you do have a little bit of meat on it, no worries. You can kind of just shave it off. You don't really want to be throwing that much meat away. Like if it's just a little bit, that's just going to really cost you more money than what it's really worth in time to take it off. Then you just throw it away, just like anything that's left on there. Sorry. It's cold back here. If you work in the cold, you know the runny nose problems. It's gonna come over here. Forgot to get this side when I was trimming it up. It's just this ugly little piece right here. On every top sirloin you get, there's always this little rivet right here that has this ugly shit in it. But after we get this nice and trimmed up, anything that's just hanging out, then we're gonna go into cutting our steaks. Normally this is the front end. Well, it is the front end, this piece. You have fat deposit right here. It's all ugly, and then when you look at this back side, it's just flat. So this is the tail end, and the ugly end's the front end. I've seen videos from people, been butchering for 20, 30 years, and they'll hop in my chat sometimes, and they recommended starting from this back end, and ever since I've tried it, I really like it. So I like to start cutting my top sirloin steaks from the end going to the front. It's just more, it just works out better in my opinion. So this back steak's usually just a little small one for me. It's a great single steak to put in. It's perfect size for an individual top sirloin steak. And then we'll go in and start cutting our regular top sirloin steaks. These are a big steak, as you can see. It's a pretty big piece of meat. Lengthwise, it's probably longer than my face. This way, it's probably as long as my face. So it's a big piece of meat, so you don't want to cut it too thick. I have these. Since this box came in on sale, I'm kind of being a little lenient with the prices on it. Give it a meat slap. And I have it at about $7.99 a pound for a top sirloin steak. Normally $8.99 a pound. So since I got it at a little bit cheaper price, I'm trying to just be a little nice with it, because meat prices are a little spendy. Especially here in Filer, we're a small little town here where I'm working. So I'm trying my best to keep people from having to drive all the way to Twin. We get about one more steak out of here. Because the front end, like I said, it's not really flat over in this front end. And then there's a really ugly deposit of really hard connective tissue and tendons up in here. So you don't get to go all the way down to collect on that steak, because when you cut any more into there, it's just, I'll even show y'all, it's ugly as hell. Just super ugly, unappealing. So if I can cut it out, I'll cut this little piece out over here, and then the rest of this I'll kind of make into a stew meat. Trim that. Do that. Let's do that. All right. Now for the top sirloin steaks, since they're pretty big steaks, I like to cut them in half. I'll use one steak and then a half a steak. I feel like that's been working fairly well, so I'll do one steak. And then usually I grab one of these bigger, thicker steaks, and I'll cut it in half. And then we get 1.5 steaks over in here on this top sirloin. Sorry, disappeared for a second with paying attention. It's a big piece of meat, I have to work through it. I'll give y'all a meat slap for that though. And if I've missed any more gifts again, I'm sorry. give you all some good slaps of meat for that. Appreciate you all for tuning in and following. Cassie, thanks for the follow. His and hers, basically. It's a good idea behind it, actually. He'll probably be able to eat most of that whole steak, and then she'll probably eat half of that half. Or if you got some kids, probably feed 3 or 4 kids with that. Cut that big one in half. You got 3 steaks, but maybe one of those kids don't really eat too much. So maybe get away with it. Now we got a couple small ones too. So we got that first piece that we cut off. Going through and trying to figure out what I have here. What do I want to do? I got two big pieces, if I'm being honest. We'll cut this one in half. This half one will be a single. It's a perfect single, especially when it's a big steak. Cut it in half. I saw 850 somewhere. 850 people watching. Yes. Appreciate you all. I'm gonna be slapping my meat here in just a second for that. Just woohoo! I want to know what customers think if they hear that. Like, are they just like, or like, what the fuck's going on back there type of thing, you know? This is a big piece, so I'm gonna just kind of be nice about it. We'll do 2 halves to make this family pack. Trust me, it's how the business works in this store. It seems a little weird to do, but it will sell. You got to give people the option. Some people don't really like having the really expensive option. So. Makes me want to eat steak. You know, so me handling all this meat makes you want to put more meat in your mouth. Okay. Ain't judging. So this is a picanha cap. It's called a picanha over in Brazil. Here in America, we'll call it the coulette or the rump cap. Very boring names. Very, very boring names. I like picanha. It sounds cooler. It sounds more... just sounds cooler, you know? Like picanha. Just kind of rolls off your tongue. Coulette. And I guess it kind of rolls off too, but picanha. It's more fun to say. And over in Brazil, this is actually like what they're known for. It's like their favorite specialty cut. And in Boise, I went to a Toscano's or whatever, and kind of figured out what they do with it, and it is absolutely delicious. So I like to buy this whole piece. You just call your meat cutter, call your butcher, ask for a whole rump cap, coulette, or picanha. You can name one name, and if he doesn't know what you're saying, try the next name. If he doesn't know that name, say the next name. If he still doesn't know it, say the cap off the top sirloin. You should know what you're talking about. Smoke it until you get an internal temp of 120. And then sear the bad boy. Sear it. Let it rest. And this shit is fucking unbelievable. I have a potty mouth. Yes, I do. Especially when I'm talking about delicious meat. It gets me excited. It gets me wanting to go and get on the barbecue and grill it up. But yes. Very great cut is this picanha. If he doesn't know, then he shouldn't be working there. Exactly. But there are a lot of meat shops that will leave this hole on the top sirloin. And then, like, the top sirloin steaks that's already a big fucking steak. But they'll leave this piece on, and then this piece even gets even bigger. And when you leave it on and you cut the steaks, this is getting cut with the grain instead of against the grain. So this piece on that steak looks ugly already in general. What cut is superior to filet mignon? Ribeye and this. I will choose this over filet mignon 10 out of 10 times. Absolutely delicious piece of meat. Now the fat doesn't like to render down like your ribeye fat or your tri-tip fat does. It's a little bit tougher fat. So what I normally do is I do a score pattern on this fat side, and then I'll flip it another way and do it again. Checkered pattern on the fat side, smoke it fat side up, and then when he's from scoring that, you'll help all those meat juices get down, be able to get through this layer of silver skin that's underneath it, and then it just juices up the meat even more. Absolutely delicious meat. It's a hidden gem. Not a whole lot of people actually know about it. I've been getting a lot of people onto it here in the Filer area. So I cut these down into steaks for my counter. Leave them as top sirloin steaks, leave it at the same price, everything. And people will be looking at steaks, you know, they'll look at a regular top sirloin, they won't touch this package. And then I tell them, hey, you know, this is like a hidden gem. Like, not a lot of meat cutters cut this. Especially leaving it whole to cut it up into these steaks. They leave it on the top sirloin, and it just ruins it. And they're like, oh, okay. And then so they'll buy the package, and the next time I see them, they come in, they're like, that package of meat was absolutely fantastic. They're like, you got any more? I'm like, yeah, I just put some out right there. Thank you. Then they leave. It's a great cut. Great cut. Super juicy, super tender. Great flavor, just of like meat. It's great. Man, slapping fat to slapping meat, you can feel it. It's like probably like slapping leather and slapping like Jello. Like if you slap it hard enough, it kind of hurts. But if you just barely slap that leather, it fucking hurts. But again, if you ain't following on the YouTube or know that I have a YouTube, I am also live right now on YouTube. Carlos! Thanks for the rose. Thanks, amigo. Hope you're having a good day, man. What kind of meat is best for stir fry? So some stores actually use this meat for stir fry. If you're gonna use it for stir fry, this would probably be one of the best meats to use for stir fry this picanha. Big T in the house. What's up, Carlos? Hope you're having a good day, man. But normally stir fry, you can cut that from your top round. Thanks for the, oh my God, he's sending the gifts. Thanks, man, I appreciate it. Sent the GGs, the ice cream cone, the chile, it's corn, sweet, lump, no, it's got the juice, This fat though, like I said, it's not the best fat on this picanha. You'll get this very soft spot right here, and it's just kind of very soft, so I like to take that out. Where in Montana? Where do you mean where in Montana? Someone said they're from Montana. TJ, thanks for the follow. Shirley, thanks for the follow. So when it's really soft fat, or has like all these like cracks in it, and it's super thick, I like to kind of just shave it out. Because one, you don't need that much fat on your steak. There's some people who do like all that fat, which by all means, I understand, you know, fat is flavor. But at some point, too much fat is just, you're paying for unnecessary weight. Give this man a million likes already. Keep tapping, people. Tap that shit. We got tri-tip, not tri-tip, we already did tri-tip. We got bone-in ribeye. I'm going to be deboning a ribeye, cutting some ribeye steaks. We got a New York to cut as well, and then an eye round for some cube steaks. We're not quite done yet. Still got a little bit more to do after this piece. So now the thing about this piece is whenever you buy it whole and you're gonna cut it up yourself. Mom, what do you, oh, okay, I see what you've been. Jody, or JD, thanks for the gift. Send your heart back. But if you're gonna buy this whole, smoke it up and cut it down into steaks after, 9 times out of 10, someone's gonna think, see this big old piece of meat right here, they're gonna think that that's the way you're supposed to cut it. You're going to be cutting it with the grain and it's going to be super tough. So we got super thick, super thin, and we got this medium side. That medium side is where you go and start cutting your steaks from. Here in the meat department, I get to square this side off. And I just get to straight use this for some stew meat. So this package of stew meat that I have, it's gonna have some top sirloin steak in it. It's gonna have some tri-tip, tri-tip. It's gonna have a bunch of meat in it. It's a good piece. It's gonna be a good package of stew meat. Appreciate you for stopping in, Carlos. I really appreciate it, man. Dev, so Dev just sent something too. Oh my God, Dev sent heart me as well. My God. Let me slap my meat for you too, man. Thanks for the gifts. Appreciate it. So now we're just gonna go ahead and start cutting these into our picanha steaks. So really great quality steaks here. Don't want to go them too thick, because these can be long pieces of steaks too here. This is what your picanha steak looks like. Kind of looks like a New York. Kind of looks like a tri-tip. I choose this over a New York, and I choose this over a tri-tip. Would also choose this over a filet mignon. It's a great, great quality, great, delicious, tender. Everything you need a steak to be, this steak does it for a great price too. Like I said, $7.99 a pound for this. Filet mignon up to $20-something a pound. Most ribeye, depending on where you're at, it's right under that $20 pound range. So, you know how to barbecue? Highly recommend you buy one of these steaks. Highly recommend it. Just trim it up this fat. Don't need too much fat on these. I do manage to somehow miss a gift. I am so sorry. I try my best to, almost at 10K, keep tapping. Tap, 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 tap. That's how the Dragon Ball anime would sound like. Tap, 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 tap. What's it called again? Picanha, Picanha. Or you can call it the rump cap. Top sirloin cap, or the coulette. Coulette, I believe, is Coulettte. Could be wrong. I cut meat for a living. I don't smell. My God, these are freaking massive steaks here. I think I might just do. We'll do a big old 3 with a small little 1. Whenever I put a small little steak in a package, that's for the barbecuer, that's for the chef. This is gonna get done quicker than the rest of these steaks. You can just pull it off and start eating it while he's over there on the barbecue. Or, you know, you maybe got a kid who doesn't quite eat too much meat. You know, they're still trying, you know, they're still learning to really, you know, they're young and they're starting to get into that being able to eat meat phase. Put a little package of meat in there for the little kid or something. Pete! All right, is that Pete? Pate quack with the finger heart. Probably spelled that. Oh my God, Ernest. Got to do this puzzle thing for TikTok. Ernest R with the confetti. TikTok had to have the worst timing with that. With the confetti, I'll put 2 pieces of meat in my hand and give you a slap for that. Where am I located? Filer, Idaho. It's the only store in Filer. So make a little small package with that. All right. I could do another small package with that. From Northwest Indiana. Are you a Pacers fan? Are you a Pacers fan? So I'm a Boston Celtics fan. How's the weather down in Indiana? Are you guys getting snow down there? I don't really know the weather for that area. Thought on flat iron, it's a very tender piece of meat as well. Although you're not going to be doing like regular steak with it. For flat iron, if you're going to do flat iron, you're probably going to do like could maybe do a pinwheel type of thing or some fajitas, you know? Maybe some like carne asada meat, something. But normally you don't. It's like a quick little sear type of thing with that. You know, you can't really smoke a flat iron. To leave it roast, you can, but 9 times out of 10, that's getting cut by a meat cutter down in the flat iron. I'm not 1 out of 10 times who leaves it as a roast. I can't sell flat iron here to save my life. I put it out last week or the week before. I think it was last week. And I think I had to reduce half of them with the $2. They were like $4 or $5 a package, maybe 6. I had to put a couple. Oh my God, pate with the hat and mustache. I missed it. Oh my God. I hate stew meat. I gotta stay looking down at my fingers so I don't cut them off. Oh my God, 1 second. Where? Let me pull it out. Ugh. We got a ribeye, bone-in ribeye for you. Come right up next. Whitney, thanks for the rose. Don't look, okay. Feel bad when I miss the gifts though, I really do. Especially when they're the interactive ones. I love the interactive ones. Those are my favorite ones. Appreciate you all for the follows. If you're new here and don't know, I'm also live over on the YouTube app. Post longer videos over there. If you're also new to the subscriptions over on the YouTube, I appreciate you all for tuning in. Now with the ribeyes, I do tend to like to wipe them down a little bit. What am I working on? I'm going to debone this whole ribeye. We'll get some beef back ribs, and then we'll get our ribeye steaks. And I have my ribeye steaks down to $11.99 a pound for family packs. So I'm just trying to get rid of these ribeyes. I don't want them to go bad and have to just throw them away and lose money. I'd rather lose money and gain money. I'd rather gain money and lose a little bit of money. You know what I mean? Tendon right there. So, easiest thing to do with this ribeye is we're going to do the score pattern right along here. We got bones right here, end of the bones, and then we got the other end of the bones right here. So I'm going to do a slight cut on the top of these bones, because while I'm going down deboning, if I don't do that, there's a potential that I'll cut into the cap. So doing this, when I'm done, usually I hit that seam that I've already started, and then the ribs just start to pop out. So what I like to do is find right along the top, kind of angle it back in towards the other ribs. So now we got this little cut right here. Now we're gonna go along. Now this first pass is just to make the path. You're not trying to get too deep on this first pass. You're just trying to make your driveway. and then you go back through, kind of start to split it apart. And then we're gonna slam or push our knife against these bones as much as we can. Pressure along the bone, because we don't want to take the meat out. We just want to take out this bone, right? So we're hugging with our knife along these bones. Sometimes you'll get a piece that's a little bit more indented in. Going right there. Boom, we got our beef back ribs right there. All nice and deboned. Literally right up to those bones. There isn't even any meat off the end of that. It's not too much of hard work. I'm using a smaller knife than I normally use. I usually use a big one. But this one's extra sharp today, so I want to use the extra sharp one. And then we just put these right on our tray. I have these beef back ribs at $3.99 a pound this week. Now we got this tail of just fat down here. There'll be maybe a little bit of meat up in here, but if there is, we'll just cut that out. But I like to just go ahead and pretty much trim this tail up so I don't have to cut through it while I'm cutting my steaks. Pretty much no meat up in there, so I'm just gonna throw that away. Now we're gonna come through here, the belly. Just kind of just trim it up. Take out any of this extra fat right here that was touching the bone. And then sometimes you'll get these really ugly pieces and a little itty bitty bone right up in these top spot. So I like to go through and trim up right here a lot, just to make sure that there isn't any ugly discolored pieces from the cryovac or any bone from the plant cutter. Get all that out, flip it over, and then we're pretty much ready to cut our steaks. I've kind of developed a new habit. I've been watching a lot of people cut meat on, like, you know, YouTube and TikTok, and it seems like all these older meat cutters are always cutting their ribeyes and their New Yorks. I need to blow my nose real quick. Are always cutting them belly side up. It seems to work a little bit better in my opinion, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that as well. Turn the sink on, the water warm. Kind of wash my hands after, blow my nose. I took my gloves off on accident. Ah, that's all water. Oh my god. Hot. Hot. Holy shit. This is where that water just got like a whole 100 degrees hotter. Holy shit. That was hot. Oh my god. Holy shit, that was hot. Protect the hands at all costs. Exactly, exactly. I don't use a cutting glove, if I'm being honest, to protect my hand. I use it to keep my hand warm. because this meat tends to get a little cold. I had a pretty good threshold built up from working in the meat department for like 4 years nonstop, but then I was at Chef's Store for like a year and a half and wasn't really dealing with cold meat on a daily basis with bare hands. So got back into the meat department and my hands being able to stay cold doesn't really work that well. So I like to wear a cloth glove to keep my hand that touches the meat all day nice and warm. Mary, thanks for the follow. Yes, that hot water really does feel hot when your hands are freezing. Piece of bone right there that I missed. Unfortunately, this is select ribeye, but every now and then we can get a really good select ribeye. I've cut a couple for roasts the last couple of weeks, and they look fantastic. Thanks for the heart, me. Pate quack. It's a ribeye right there for you. That's the end right there that you want to choose from. If you're ever buying a ribeye steak, this is the end right here to choose from. Like I said, select grade, so the marbling isn't going to be the best, but what I mean by this is the side you want to choose from, we got this cap right here on this ribeye. This piece right here. And that's the best piece on the whole cow. This is the most tender piece of meat on the whole cow, is this cap. But as we're cutting down, that cap gets smaller and smaller. So what I mean by this is the best end is this cap is the biggest on this end. So whenever I myself personally buy a ribeye steak, it's always from this end, always. Unless I go to a restaurant, then I don't get the choice. That's the best side right there. Start cutting these a little thicker. That one doesn't look too bad. It's got a little big piece of fat right here, but if you look on this other side, it's a little smaller. 1,300 people in here, holy shit. Love is in you, thanks for the rose. Pete, I'm gonna call you Pete. Thanks for the finger heart. Appreciate it. Jesse, thanks for the follow at the store. How do you know how to pick that end? So when I'm done cutting all these steaks, I'll show you how different these ribeyes will look. You'll be able to tell the difference from one end to the other. One end has that cap, that roll to it. The other doesn't. It's pretty much non-existent. I'll show you what I mean. See how it's starting to already get a little smaller? See how it's already just starting to long and thin out, right? Compared to this very front end, how it's nice and thick. It's all right there, right? That's how you tell the difference. We'll do these. How many do I got here? 1, 2, 3 family packs so far. Honestly, could have taken off more of that tail if I'm being honest. That tail's fucking massive. Look at that tail. And I already cut off like a portion of that too. Yeah, this is select grade. It isn't going to have the best marbling in it. These are leftover holiday rib roasts from Christmas. So I'm doing a really good deal on it to try and just get rid of these select ribeyes, because I normally just deal with CAB. And CAB beef is dramatically better than this one, I promise you. Leave it on for me. Well, how many steaks you want? Come on in. Bobby, the things my wife says. Thanks for the follow. Can you not freeze them and sell them frozen? These ones were kind of already frozen. How they started doing the rib programs is they have they get all the pre-commits done, and then they send in however many people pre-committed, and then they'll do a big old slaughter, from my understanding, with how they've been doing it the last couple of years. So then they do they flash freeze them really quick, and then right before, like fresh, like they pull them as soon as they were done slaughtering and doing the whole hanging aging process, freeze them, and then like a couple of weeks before the cell starts to pull them out. So then they're completely, at least that's how I understand them explaining it, but I don't think freezing them again for extended amount of time would work too well for these steaks. Where am I located? Filer, Idaho, the only store in Filer, Idaho. Alright, so let's go through and see how many steaks we got out of this. I'll be able to get a little bit of stew meat from this end. Like I said, this package of stew meat that we're working on has now some tri-tip, some top sirloin, a little bit of chuck. Now it's going to have a little bit of ribeye in it as well. That's going to be a really tasty package of stew meat right here. Stew meat, $6.59 a pound. It's a great package of stew meat right there. Great following on YouTube. Make sure to follow on YouTube. I greatly appreciate it. Got some longer content that goes out over on my page. 2, 4, 6, 7. We'll do 4 family packs. 2 to a pack. We'll do 5 smalls. Oh yeah, I gotta trim this side still. Don't look too bad. Don't look too bad. Deal Alum, or Desi Alum, sorry. I got a little dyslexic with that E and the A. Thanks for the follow. Really appreciate it. Someone's over there talking to my mom. Wish my local store cut steaks like I do. Well, move here. I can cut steaks for you if you move here. Hook me up, brother. Well, I'm already giving y'all a pretty good deal with the meat prices in here, so come buy some meat. I got a paper over here covering half of my cutting table, so when I slap my meat, my other cutting table doesn't get covered in meat juice. Where am I at? Filer, Idaho. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Miranda, thanks for the follow. Just subscribed on YouTube. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it. The best steak, exactly. Waste of a movement there. Everything back here, depending on how you're doing it, is movement based. If you can make the least amount of movements, the time's gonna go by quicker. If you do a lot of extra movements, you're gonna be spending extra time just moving around. So my whole turning around, doing that, whatever, and I said unneeded movement, that's what I meant. Reading my mom's books, hell yeah. If anyone doesn't know, my mom, who's a book author, she pops up in here in the chat. She's a moderator. It's Molly Haragi, Hill author. Molly Haragi, creator, author, sorry. She's a book author of a vampire trilogy called Fated. A vampire trilogy. It's a fantastic series, better than Twilight. I know a lot of people think vampires and they think of sparkly, bad acting. Forrest, thanks for the 5 roses. Let me get this meat out and I'll give you a nice little meat slap. It's gonna be New York, strip loin. All right, meat slapping time. Thanks for the roses. Basically the same thing that we kind of do with the ribeye. I'm gonna take off this tail down here a little bit. This helps me get to the trimming up of the belly. We get a little, just a little bit of meat up in here. Just trim that out. It's just a little bit, not too much. Now this one, it's already been deboned because if it was left on, we would have our short loin, which is where you get your T-bones from. So T-bone is a bone in New York with your filet mignon on the other side of that bone. So when they decide to debone them and take that filet mignon out, no one just wants a bone in New York. Trust me, you don't want a bone in New York. Just buy a bone in ribeye. And so in the process of them taking that bone out, a lot of the times they leave, like there's a piece of bone right here, some hard pieces over here, another piece of bone right there. So me just being a meat cutter for however many years, whenever I see New York, I'm just always looking at the belly of it, trying to find all the little pieces of bone that get left in before I get to actually trimming it up. Who's Kevin? Who's Kevin? Zip it. Bill, thanks for the follow. Rich, thanks for the follow. No, I ain't part of the Peaky Blinders, but I do got the blade. I'll blind you. Why no gift friend? What do you mean? Why no gift friends? Steffi, thanks for the tiny diny. Oh my goodness. It's blocking from the lives. Well, I'm hoping I have a moderator in here to do that for me. My mom was in here. Don't know where she went. Steffi, thanks for the hand heart. Give you one back. All right, now that I've identified that there's no more. Well, let me rub my hand along this piece of bone real quick. All right, once I've identified there's no more bones, little itty bitty pieces of bones up on here, we're just going to shave out this belly, a very thin layer. Because since there was a bone here resting at one point, all this meat, it likes to just tend to turn a little bit quicker than the rest of the meat. What 2 cuts are the steak and porterhouse? It's New York and filet mignon. Susan with the 3 dolphins. Hell yeah, I appreciate that. Leslie Perez with the rose. I blocked him good. Fuck that guy. Oh my God, 10 heart puffs and 10 chili. 10 chilies. Cheyenne, I think that's who. I gotta take the glove off. I need to read. I don't want to miss. Leslie with the 1 rose. Cheyenne with the heart puff. And then Forrest with the 10 chilies. Cheyenne with another heart puff. And Susan with the 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 more dolphins. Oh my God. Oh my God. And a heart meat. Oh my God. Thank you all. It's a meat slap. That's a meat slap. Like, it's a lot of meat slaps. Caught in the act. Ooh, you were caught in the act doing what? Ooh. Thanks for the heart meat. I really appreciate that. Did it for the meat slap. Well, the meat slap appreciates the gift. Kesslin, thanks for the follow. I'm a meathead. All gifts get meat slaps, and depending on how big the gift is, it might even get a big old slap. That's how I roll back here. Now I do these a little bit different as well. I like to take off this weird layer at this top of these steaks. So usually for me to do that, I flip it over. Now I just hit it. Just get it out of here. Why? Because I cut it off all the steaks anyways. Senna, let them cook. Let him cook. Let him cook. I said, let him cook. All I say is a skirt, but the meat is not attached to any 100 meat slaps, so I think my hand would start to get a little tired after that one. Oh my God! It's a panther paw. I thought it was a kitty claw. It's close enough to a kitty. Hey, thanks for the new hat, Steffi. Susan with the panther claw, I really appreciate that. That was cool as hell. I wasn't aware there was a panther claw. Oh yeah, I started cutting it this way. The best steaks. What cut is superior to filet mignon? Superior? There's about 4 other cuts that are superior to filet mignon. Filet mignon isn't even the best one. Ribeye's the best. And then, in my opinion, the next best one would be the picanha, which is a top sirloin cap. You literally landed in my For You page, now I'm going broke. Hey, don't need to go broke. Come on. Appreciate the gifts, but they are not needed. Hand's getting a little slippery, a little slimy. All right, I already know what's going to be coming after this. Forrest with the, where is it at? Forrest with the 6 roses. 6 roses. Had to join me, share names. Hey, what's up, Tristan? All right, I already know y'all are gonna yell at me for this. 1, I'm not sharpening. This is not sharpening, okay? I'm honing my edge. Because as I am cutting meat today, I'm pushing down on this table. Now it isn't normal. That's not a normal way to steal, I know. It's how I steal though. But I'm not sharpening it. I'm honing the edge because as I'm putting pressure on the table with this little thin blade, it's wanting to roll one way or roll another. So it may seem like your blade is now doling, but it's not doling. Your blade's just slightly rolling. So when you hit it on that steel, you go from a roll back to straight. And that edge that is there is now back to being straight. If you had a dull knife, like if you straight up have a dull knife and you use it on this, you still have a dull knife. I'm not sharpening, not doing any of that. Gordon Ramsay, you'll see him go and do his little professional knife chef steel type of thing that I feel like I would lose an arm if I tried to do. Rodney, thanks for the ice cream cone. But you do not need to wipe your blade. God, that feels so much better. Virginia, what's up? Just cutting through that like butter. Straight like butter. That's what she said. Message retracted? What are you trying to do? Like, be funny? I'm so pretty. Thank you. I prefer handsome, but I'll take the pretty comment. Hello from Boston. Boston in the chat. W's. W Boston Celtics. W's. I've missed you. Why? Let's see. Marbling is just actually this one's choice, but it's not the best. Not the best marbling, unfortunately. That piece of fat just fell off. Kauai. Oh, Kauai. Okay, Hawaii. I need to go to Hawaii. I've been really. It's one place I really want to go to, but I also want to go to like. I want to go out of the country too. You know what I mean? I've never been out of the country. Never, ever. Fairly Choice. This is IBP. This one is not CAB. This is also a leftover from holiday sale, Christmas roasts. I got a bunch of New Yorks in my cooler as well. I got $5.99 for select, $6.99 for choice. And then if you want them cut a little smaller, you go up $1 a pound. But I got these on sale for $11.99 a pound for both Ribeye and New York. That looks so good. They're starting to get a little bit, that one looked a little bit better. That one looks alright. It's not the best looking either. That's why I don't like New Yorks. New Yorks never hold their shape or hold their marbling. You know what I mean? I like to kind of just trim up the fat as I'm cutting too, because then I don't have to do it all at once. What's the difference of a New York or Kansas City strip? I want to say, I don't know. I want to say they might honestly be the same exact cut, but someone in Kansas City was just like, nah. I came up with the cut first. We're going to call it Kansas City. It could be a different cut though, kind of like a Denver steak or whatever off of the chuck. I don't know what a Kansas City strip is. But I want to say it's just a New York steak, just someone from Kansas City wanted to call it a Kansas City strip. I could be wrong. I'm in Idaho, so we don't have Kansas City strips, steaks, whatever it is. I'm partial to KC, but I figured that. Been watching Tristan since he started TikTok. I love it. Thank you all. Thank you for the support and hanging out over the years. You know, I disappeared for a little bit because of job and everything, and I know I'm kind of iffy on posting sometimes. I'm a single dad, you know, single. Just it's hard life sometimes. So I'm just chilling sometimes, trying to get in a little bit of rest. Peace of quiet in my mind when I need to. What is a cutlet anyway? A cutlet is normally just a thin cut piece of meat, like sirloin, pork sirloin chops. When you thin cut those, they consider it a pork cutlet. It's just a thin cut. Just a thin cut is all it is. What part of Idaho? I work in Filer. I live in Twin Falls. Kansas City strip is the cap of the top. Oh, okay. So this, the picanha. The picanha is a Kansas City strip. Okay. That makes a little bit of sense. I can get behind that. I still like picanha better than a Kansas City strip. We got one more thing to cut after this. One more, uno más. And it is I've round for cube steaks. I got cube steaks on sale for $6.99 a pound this week. So we're gonna have the family packs be the $6.99 because I didn't want to go out there and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't want to go out there and change the price on the small one, so I was just like, fuck it. I'll make family pack this week and they could be $6.99 a pound. I used to live in Rupert. Nice. It's about an hour away from here, or from where I live. I worked in a meat department for 19 years. How's your body feel? I've been in here for 7. I need to know. Is it gonna be worth it, or am I gonna hate my life? 'Cause I'm already starting to feel it in the shoulder. Kathy, thanks for the share. I really appreciate it. For anyone who isn't aware, I'm also live over on the YouTube. If anyone is still over in the YouTube chat, sorry, it's just not moving that quick, so I don't even know if anyone's in there. All right. Don't be checking my butt out now, all right? If the crack's out, just call the cops. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to show it. How much do I make? Because I want to work with meat too. Management, I make a decent amount of money. I would like to make more, but beggars can't be choosers. It's the most money I've made my whole entire career though, so I ain't complaining. Got some New York meat right here. What's the room temperature in here? I'm pretty sure. I'm actually a little warm that on them. Kind of goofing around back here, but I'm pretty sure it's like 40 degrees in here today. Like 3 days, last week we were a couple days in here where it was like 36 in here. Oh my God, it sucked. All right, this is our eye of round. It's a pretty tough piece of meat. I like to use it for cube steaks or stew meat. Stir fry as well, especially if I don't need that much stir fry. But cube steaks, we need to take off every bit of connective tissue and fat. So literally, the only thing we're going to see here is a nice trimmed up piece of meat. Some people might say you're trimming too much. It's all got to come off. Getting right underneath that top layer of that connective tissue. Eye rounds can have a lot of those ugly pieces too from that cryovac bag being sealed, sucking all that air out. You can have these really ugly patches of meat that don't really look like they're discolored, but they just look very unappealing, so I always take them off as well. I'm new on your page. Well, welcome to tune in. If you didn't know, I'm also on YouTube. I post longer videos on YouTube. And if you miss a video, like one of my lives, it is also uploaded to the YouTube page. So you can go back through and see what you missed. Thanks for tuning in. If you ain't following, make sure to follow. If you ain't subscribed on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. Anyone not aware, I did post a video today on YouTube right before I did go live. It's like a 20-minute video. It's a quick video of me having an inside round, breaking it down into some stir fry, some stew meat, some London broil, some top round roast, some stir fry. I did a bunch of things with just one piece of meat. So if you're curious, go ahead and tune on in. Leave a comment. There was someone in my work who ended up popping up into the video as well. He wanted to come and share a little story of what just happened in his department. So, I want to say once we're done cutting though, that doesn't mean we're done with the live. We still got to go wrap this meat. I understand. There might not be a lot of people who know how to wrap some meat. I'm one of them. I got 2 kids, so some meat's not getting wrapped. Am I right? Both my kids were planned, so it wasn't supposed to be wrapped. Am I near Preston? I don't think so. Polo God, thanks for the follow. All right, cube steak's pretty simple. I like the smell of raw meat. It really doesn't got a smell. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't really got a smell to me. JS, thanks for the follow. What do I do with the scraps? Scraps are in this bucket. At the end of the day, I make ground beef with it. That's for 80-20. All right, so we're doing family pack. So we're gonna need 4. There's 1 family pack. I already have some smalls out on the counter, and cube steaks don't necessarily fly out of my counter. Sometimes they do, but for the most part they don't. So I'm gonna use this for some stew meat. And these for cube steaks. Nice sharp knife makes everything nice and simple. Just look at that, just glides right through. Is it more popular in winter? Is what more popular in winter? Sorry, I've been looking down, trying not to cut my finger off. On break at your butchering job. Well, looks like TikTok's spying on you. Is that a Cutco knife? It is not a Cutco knife. This is a Victorinox knife. Victorinox knife. I got it from a meat seminar, so I got it for free. And brand new knives are very sharp. And my knives actually need sharp in my opinion. I didn't even use this one today. That's actually surprising. This one doesn't really fit in my hand very comfortably in my opinion. I really like this blue handled one. I really like what Knife Pro does with theirs. It's not really too different either. It's just I have just a little bit bigger finger grip right here, and I really like that on these Knife Pro cutlery knives. Both of these are in my TikTok showcase. Knife Pro cutlery. This is my 11-inch steak knife, and this is a 9-inch fillet knife. This one again, I got it for free from a meat seminar, so free fitty. I'm gonna use that shit. Oh, cube steaks more popular in winter. They're just back and forth. I want to say I have more like older people who buy the cube steaks. Every now and then I'll get like a middle-aged lady or man doing it. But normally it's a cube steak, so I think it just depends on what the town's doing for dinner that week. But I am going to take you over to the cuber, the tenderizer, to do this with you. We only got these 2 packages and a small one, so it's going to be a very quick tenderizing process. But let me just go grab my cart and pan for you guys to set you on, and we'll be right over here tenderizing some meat. Here. Grab this. Traffic jam. shit, I got two phones. This is the first time I've ever done two over here. Okay. We got it. I think we got it. We'll do one at a time. We'll start with TikTok. Move y'all over here. How's that view? That looks pretty good if I don't say so myself. What's up, YouTube? All right. I think that works too. All right. I'm a professional, so I know how to use this machine. Don't just walk into a department and use the machine, all right? I'm a professional. Normally, you put this down. I don't like doing extra cleaning work, so that stays up. Turn this on. And now we're just going to feed steaks through a couple times to tenderize them. So here's a before. There's an after. This is for chicken fried steak. Cube steak. Sorry, this is a piece of machine you definitely want to stay paying attention to. I don't want to have my... I like having 10 digits. Got the 2 family packs. Last one. Last one. And you can just continuously run it through, but it's going to thin out the piece of meat and eventually it's going to start falling apart. Someone gives me a galaxy, I'll find a piece of trim to just sit here and run it through until it falls apart. But that's the only reason. That's the only thing I'm going to waste my time for. Michael Villanueva. I actually know that last name. I grew up with a couple Villanuevas. I can actually say that one. Called a Lancelot. I don't know what a Lancelot is. Hannah, thanks for the follow. Colt, thanks for the follow. All right, I gotta put y'all over here now so we can wrap this shit. All right, YouTube, I gotta place you a certain way real quick. It's so difficult. Put you there. I think works. Almost YouTube down. All right, I think we're good. All right, first things first, we got the beef ribs. Now, this piece of meat gets kind of wrapped a couple different ways. I do half of it. I'll wrap half of it because it's bigger than the tray. So if you try to wrap it, you're just gonna rip it, and then you're not gonna be able to wrap it. So I wrap it one side, and now we're gonna get this other side done. So we'll get now fully wrapped, right? So there's 2 protective layers around this piece of rib. I know, gentlemen, we're told not to double wrap. I understand that. This piece of meat's okay to double wrap. This does the protection. It doesn't ruin the protection, okay? But we're not done there. We're gonna throw a 3rd wrap over it, but I'm gonna turn it long ways. Now we'll get a whole wrap around it. Living in Wyoming, it's 11, not 111. Messy donut, thanks for the follow. Safety comes first. Depends on who you're with. Gotta wrap it. You don't want it to get none of them dirty germs on it. Am I correct, gentlemen? Ladies. What state am I in? I am in Idaho. Not like I'm a hoe. Definitely far from a hoe. This dude could barely get a conversation going. Like, who wraps it anymore? No heat plate to seal plastic. It's right here. Heat plate right here. What's my favorite cut? That would have to be ribeye. And then filet mignon isn't even in my top 5, but it go with picanha. So we got ribeyes, $12.99 a pound. Where else are you gonna go to find a ribeye for $12.99 a pound? Do I work by myself for the most part? I do have a helper, but he's here on freight days right now, so that's Monday and Thursdays. And then he's here Saturdays because I'm here every other Saturday, so I need someone here on Saturdays. But I'm trying to get him to the Fridays as well because I do need to try to start actually training him on how to actually do shit. But as far as cutting meat goes, yeah, I'm the only person who cuts meat in this whole shop. Australia, it's 7:30 a.m. Here in Idaho, it is 2 p.m. right now. I came in a little later today, so I'm going to be here a little later today. But I also came in a little later because I have nothing to do at home, and it's better than sitting at home for 6 hours doing nothing. I need to grab my rack pad. One sec. I also really need like a computer or something so I can actually stream a little bit better. I have to do everything off my phone. It's very difficult to do everything off your phone. Because I'd love to go live on TikTok while I'm gaming too. But I can't do that. I can, but it echoes really, 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 really bad. Like whatever I say through my Xbox while I'm gaming, it like says like 5 times on here. So I'm trying to figure that out. What supermarket do I work out of? It's the only store in Filer, Idaho. It's the only store here. So if you were to Google grocery store, Filer, Idaho, it'd be the only store here. Do I do night shift or just days? It's just days. I normally come in at like 8, 8:30 and work till 3, 3:30. But today I got in at like 10, so I can stay till, I'm gonna be here till like 5 if I want. That's if I want. I can literally leave whenever I get done. But the whole point of me going live is to kill time. And I get to goof off while working still. I'm not just straight goofing off. But I'll wrap this, fill it out on the counter, and then I'll see if any pork needs to be cut, which I'm pretty sure country style needs to be cut. So I'll grab a bag of, ooh, actually, what do I use? So I don't have any cushion. I forgot to order cushion. Or I purposely didn't order cushion because I have a bunch of pork loin. I'll probably do a bunch of pork loin country style, boneless country style ribs instead of cushion. Should be good. Won't take me that long either. See, boom, $20.50 for this package of ribeyes right here. Those are the best 2 ribeyes you could find on the counter. These would be the next second best. You also aren't aware, I'm also live over on YouTube. You don't have to tune in to watch the live, but I would appreciate a subscribe, a follow over on the YouTube. I do post longer videos over there. So if you like watching what I do here, but hate how they're just shorter videos, I do post longer videos over on the YouTube. I have a 20-minute video that I just posted today, right before I went live. Robin, thanks for the follow. Robin Bird. Trevor Artichoker, thanks for the follow. I'm lucky to get ribeye for $6 a pound. Do you live here? How much in sales do I do a week? It's been very slow back here since the holidays. It's normally about, it's nothing crazy. It's really nothing crazy. It's normally about like 12 to 14,000 a week. With it being a little slow, I'm sitting at about like 11-ish, 12-ish. It's very slow. What do I want to do, chat? $8.99 or $9.99 a pound for family pack tri-tip. I'll leave it up to y'all to decide. Or do I meet it in the middle at $9.59? I like beef ribs more. What's up, Carly? We'll do $9.99, or we'll do $8.99. So my small steaks will be $9.49. Happy New Year, Bill. So family pack will be $8.99 a pound. Roasts, if I do need to cut roasts this week, will be $8.99 a pound as well. And then a small tri-tip package will be $9.49 a pound. And I do want to say, if no one comes in and buys these tri-tip at $8.99 a pound, I will put them up to $9.99 a pound. And then they can suffer. Can we see your departments? Yeah. I'll do TikTok first, and then I'll do YouTube next. This is my meat shop. Let me just get this angled a little bit better. This is my meat shop. Let me go ahead and flip the camera. This is my meat shop. Walk in, see. Whole wrapping station. My cutting saw. My grinder. My cooler. So that's my meat department. Yep, got a grinder. How else am I supposed to grind? Me too, for the live. All right, so this is the shop. Sink, wrapping station, saw, cutting table, grinder, tenderizer. I do got a slicer. Don't need a slice. Don't use a slicer. And then the meat cooler. It's where all the magic happens, though. Appreciate you all tuning in. I really do appreciate you all. It's been a great, fantastic hump day. Hump day. I can show you all the store out there. It just matters that there's customers out there, and because I don't want the customers to have to worry about accidentally getting on camera or something. So if the counter looks, I'll stay live. I'll go fill all this, and then depending on how busy it is out there, if it's not busy, I'll bring y'all out with me. Does that seem fair? Do I own the place? I do not own the place. I'm just the meat department manager. I'm just the boss back here. Is my name Pfizer because I made your heart stop? Oh, shucks. Oh. Who cuts my day off? No one. Extra cut for a day off so that they can fill the shelves while I'm not here. So every other week I have my kids, so Monday through Friday. And an occasional Saturday I'll come in for a couple hours if it's really needed. Then I have to find a babysitter. But normally that Friday I cut enough meat to get through rest of Friday, all of Saturday and Sunday. And then my helper comes in on Saturday and he'll fill the chicken, the sausage, and making. Package of tri-tip, 1402. 1915. 7 hours. I can only work 7 hours starting at the beginning of this day. I could do 35-hour work weeks because where I was living before a couple months ago, it's too expensive. But when my lease was going to end, I obviously wanted somewhere else to go. So where I'm at now, I can only work 35 hours a week, or I make too much and I can't live there. So. It's either you make too much, so you can't stay there, which is stupid, or you don't make enough and everywhere's too expensive. Stupid. Hashtag life of a single dad. Roberto, thanks for the share. Now I did have a roommate who was my best friend, but he's a shitty person, owes me a lot of money, and I guess he thinks it's a cool an okay thing to do to talk to a girl that I'm talking to behind my back and meeting up with her behind my back.
while I'm at work when he's supposed to be at work, but he's not at work because he's fucking the girl I'm talking to behind my back. Story of my life. Where am I out of? Idaho. I work in Filer. People say they don't want to keep us down. Exactly. Exactly. But I got the meat. You know I got the meat. Supposedly I got some pretty tasty meat. So like, but yeah, no, the story of my life is shitty friends and even shittier relationships. I have the swinging sirloin. I'd say it swings. She is just as much to blame, that is true. But for someone who's supposedly your best friend, he considers you his brother, and let alone the only person he has, because his family sucks, I don't think that's reasonable either. Her loss, honey, it is her loss. FTB. FTB. I don't know how TikTok likes that phrase, so FTB. Everyone seems to cross that line when it involves me. I just don't know if I'm just an irrelevant person who just is there to help a person out until they can fuck me over or what. But it's pretty much been the story of my life. Hurt people, F them. Well, he shouldn't technically be hurt. I mean, he had a shitty family, by all means. His mom sucked. His dad also sucked. But, like, we have a best friend for 3 years. And I've done everything. I've given you money, let you live with me while you're trying to get a job. All this shit. It's not really necessarily the thing to do to someone. Cost or chops? Thanks for the follow. People are shit, brother. Even friends. Exactly. That's why I just go home and don't do anything. My life's pretty boring. But it's because I'm tired of getting fucked over. So I go live. I find a very good relief of stress and everything from going live, but sometimes when I'm just in a really shitty head spot, even going live doesn't help. It just gives me really bad anxiety. So if I'm ever just missing for a little bit, I'm sorry. Just going through a lot as a single dad, okay? I try my best. What kind of gaming do? I do a lot of first-person shooters. I'm kind of getting back into Fortnite right now because my son he's been asking me to play with him when he's over at his mom's. So I've been playing a little bit of that. Rainbow Six. I have the Elden Ring DLC. I beat Elden Ring, but I need to do the DLC. I'm planning on going through like the game shop here within the next month and just downloading a couple games that aren't popular and seem fun and trying to stream them. Like there's a pretty cool looking Star Wars game that looks pretty fun to try and play. I'm thinking about streaming that. It's only like $15 or $20. COD, I've played a little bit of COD recently. I used to play it a lot, but I really don't have the friends to really play with anymore. I actually don't really have anyone to play with. I have my son and one buddy to play Fortnite with, and that's it now. My ex-roommate / best friend was my duo partner, so ever since all of that shit happened with all of that, yeah, it's kind of just been a downhill with my video games. Any sport games? I really, really, really want to get back into NBA 2K. I was really, really good at 2K. And I also want to get back into Madden. Both games, just never had anyone to play with, but now that I'm kind of trying to get into the streaming routine, I feel like a little bit of variety would be a big help. YouTube down! Oh my god! Are y'all okay? Are y'all okay? Speak to me! I was lagging on YouTube because a 10% battery thing popped up. I'm sorry. Yeah, Mateo plays. We actually played last night, Mom. We played a couple games for a little bit. I've never done the whole black cord or whatever it is on 2K because I've never played those games. I've always played them with friends. You know, I'd go over to a friend's house after school. There'd be like 5 or 6 of us there. The winner runs it until he loses and you give up the controller. Everyone hated playing me in Madden. I can block field goals and I can block punts. My friends hated playing with me because we'd be in a really good game, but they'd be losing because I'd block field goals. So they hated it. NBA 2K, I had an older stepsister. She's just 6 months older than me. But she had a boyfriend or a boy toy or whatever who was older than her. He was really good at 2K. His name's Steven. Really good at 2K. I made my life mission when I was younger to be as good as he was because he would beat me with just playing with one player, just shooting threes the whole fucking game. Nadine, if you go to my Instagram, Tristan to meet me on Instagram, shoot me a message on there with your gamer tag or try sending me a message on TikTok. I don't know how the TikTok message requests work when you don't follow me. I know I get a couple, but I don't know how that works. Always looking for people to play with, you know. Also, with the streaming just seems like a really good thing. If I could get big, which is if I could do this like every day, literally just go live every day, cut meat, play video games, barbecue, that's my dream. Just to go live, literally just wake up. All right, what are we doing? Y'all distracted me. Tri-tip steak on chuck roasts. 6:39. Wake up, figure out what I needed to do for the day, go live, cut all that meat, barbecue, do all that, and then when I'm done with that, go home, go live again, just play video games. If I could do that, that's really what I want to do. I want to be able to give back. I want to be able to go live, cut all this meat for what I'm going to cook for, and then end of the day, whenever there's any food left over, go and give it to the homeless. Go and give it to struggling, you know, the moms or dads at the assisted living places that are struggling. Go and give them. That's what I want to do. And there's literally a place I could go and do it in Nevada right now, but I'm not leaving my kids to go and pursue my dream. I feel like that would be a fucked up thing to do, is just see your kids a couple times a month so you can pursue your dream at their expense. Nope. Jalen, what's up, brother? It's closed. Well, Mom, you call the kids' mom, okay? And you convince her to move back to Winnemucca. You do that, okay? Thanks, Jalen. Proud of you too, brother. You're from India? That's pretty cool. You tell her new boy toy, whatever, the dude that she's with, if he's a true welder, he can go out to a mine site and make even more money than he's making now. Kids are already on board. I know they are. Moving to Nevada would probably be like the best thing that could ever happen to me. But I'm not leaving my kids, so. Look at that, $21.49 for these nice big ass steaks. That's a banging deal. I do keto and country style ribs are my go-to. I really don't even know what to do with them. I know if you get like the big thick country style ribs, you put them in a crock pot, they break down like it's pulled pork, I'm pretty sure. But other than that, I really don't know what to do with the boneless country style ribs. Obviously you can look up recipes and everything, but like just from me in general, when I'm looking at it, I don't have an idea other than crock pot. I also have a really good idea too. I just don't know if it's gonna work because I'm just thinking at it from a quick point of view. Because Mom, I want to do deer roast in the morning tomorrow. But I don't want to go and get vegetables. I don't want to waste money on going and getting vegetables because I have canned soup with a bunch of vegetables in it. Can I just dump that in with the roast? Do you gotta have experience to be a butcher? Nope. I came from a mine site. I know, Mom, but I like baby carrots in with it and everything. I like the extra meat and the extraness to it. So canned soup with like vegetable soup. Can I just boop. Oh, sweet. Chuck eye. 1200. God, I'm so good. Okay, chat. I have chuck roast at $6.39. So family pack will be I'll do $6.69. So for chuck eye, should I do? What do you think? $7.99, $8.59, or $8.99? Okay. I'm thinking chuck eye steak, $8.59 a pound. Like, look at this. Look at this ribeye. Look at this chuck eye. That's a chuck eye. Nah, bitch, that's a ribeye. I could literally put that out on the counter as a ribeye. I'm not even shitting. I could put both these out on the counter as a ribeye if I really wanted to. But I'm not going to because they're chuck eyes. $8.59 a pound. I feel like that's reasonable. $7.04 for this chuck eye. Are you shitting me? $7.04 for this steak right here. And then the next one, $7.13. Look at these steaks. $7.13 for that? I think I might take that. What's the difference? That the chuck eye comes off the very front end of the chuck roll. which is connected to the rib loin. So when you take that off, there's still a little bit of that rib loin that goes into the chuck roll, but you don't want to take that off with the ribeye, because then you're having to take off a small portion of meat at a ribeye price. So they leave it in the chuck roll. So then when you take off the chuck eye, that little piece of meat, you don't have to worry about having to repurpose it or anything if you can't repurpose it. But chuck eye is basically just a poor man's ribeye, because ribeye, if I didn't have it on sale for $11.99 a pound right now, it would be $18.99 a pound right now. Chuck eye, $8.59 a pound. That's $10 difference. That's a pretty big difference. Mike Nesbitt, what's up? $8.99 a pound where I'm from? Well, all the more reason to move here. I got the cheap meat while hitting my numbers. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually a little behind on my numbers right now because of my rib roast purchases and my ham purchases, with how bad it was during Christmas. All those massive purchases, because ribeyes aren't cheap, didn't really look that great on my numbers. Is it just as tender? Oh yes, it's just as tender. Trust, and it's the best part that you can get for a ribeye, basically. You have the whole cap in it. The shit that like half that steak is just the rib cap. I'm trying to hurry a little bit because YouTube, my phone is about to die. I feel a little bad if y'all didn't get to go out there and check the counter too. What's good here? Christmas off the chart numbers cut at 34. Holy shit. Yeah, I ordered less than what came in last year. I'm pretty much sitting, ham wise, I'm pretty much what I ordered in. Like barely any fucking ham sold. Especially the farmland boneless buffet hams. I have so many fucking cases of buffet hams. It's stupid. But yeah, as far as being a manager goes, this is the slowest holiday I've ever seen in 7 years. 7 years in the meat department, I've never ever seen it this slow. Have I seen The Butcher on Hulu? No. Moving pretty slow. If you ask me, bang that shit out, bro. Right, but I still have a couple hours to be here. You know, the only thing I have to do is make ground beef and cut a little bit of country style. If you really, really want me to bang it out, just wait, alright? Come on, fast. I can go fast. You want speed? I'll give you speed. Just the thing with me going fast is I can't go over here and oh yeah, I was actually asked to be a part of a barbecue show on Netflix. They gave me a whole sign-up sheet. They reached out to me and everything. But I don't put family pack on these. But Okay, I guess I'm putting family pack on these this week. My ex didn't want me to, couldn't really afford for me to leave, so. I love that show. I've watched a couple episodes of it. I get that. Oh yeah, these ones aren't Angus beef. Distracting me. Yes, it was. Oh, Barbecue Showdown? I have no fucking clue, Mom. I just know that it's on Netflix. Yeah, I couldn't leave because one, I didn't have someone who could really cover my shop if I were to leave for however long it was. Two, I didn't have PTO that could cover that long of me not being at work. And three, I had a bunch of bills I needed to cover, so if I didn't have PTO to cover it, couldn't go. Barbecue Showdown does sound familiar, though. I did get flown all the way to go down to Fayetteville, Georgia. A guy down there, he has a seafood shop. Now he drives around a seafood food truck all over that area. But he was wanting to get into a meat shop as well, so just a seafood shop, and he flew me down there, and very, very cool experience. If I was a single guy, I would have hopped on that faster than... Who's the president that got caught with Marilyn Monroe? Because I would have hopped on it faster than that. Anyways. My ex-wife didn't want to move down there. I mean, I can't really blame her. All her family's here, but... I've never seen anyone cut rap like that. You just changed my game. How do you do it? Hey, if I can teach anyone a trick, I'm all for it. Worth the watch. I'll definitely check that out. I feel like I have not seen you in like 2 years, but glad to have seen you still killing it. Yeah, I'm before the new year, I actually just talked to my boss about this on Monday, like the store manager. I gave him shit about how I have all this permission to be able to go on Facebook and tell people locally where they can come and buy meat. But yeah, I have one page where I have thousands of people that follow me, hundreds of thousands of people that follow me, but I can't post anything on that. He's like, oh, TikTok? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I used to have 16,000 people at one point watching me on a weekly basis. I was like, if I could get back to that and telling them where I'm at, you don't think business would pick up? And you're just like, let's do it. So, I'm trying. Granted, I'm not fully saying where I'm at, but I am basically saying where I'm at. Only store in Tyler, Idaho. Like, if you can't figure that out, go shopping at Walmart. But that is everything to wrap.